So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, namaste ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to all of you to the Blub World Web Talks 268th episode. In the last 267 episodes, we have talked to, interacted with more than 5,000 school leaders on this very platform where they've shared their ideas, opinions, innovation, and what all new are they doing in the education space. So today as well, in the next 40 to 50 minutes that you are here with us, we'll talk about something superbly interesting. We'll try to know your opinion from the perspective of your profession. If you're here as a teenager, what do you think about the topic? If you're here as a school leader, what do you think about the topic? And if you're here as a university leader, what's your opinion on this? Now, why are we talking about this topic? That's something that I'll talk to you in my opening. But before I do that, just setting some ground rules for everyone who's there on the call. Make sure that you do not turn off your video during the next 40 to 50 minutes if you're there on the call. Secondly, think of the Blub World Web Talks like a speaking sprint. It's not a marathon. So the speaking time is limited. And once your time comes to an end, not your time, the speaking time, when the speaking time comes to an end, you'll see Blub World's hand raised up in the air. That means you have the final 30 seconds to conclude your speech. Once your time is over, you might get muted. If you get muted, please don't get offended. It's just to keep the activity crisp and entertaining for everyone. Most importantly, once the session starts, you can use English or Hindi, any of these two languages. Please don't use a third one, but if you want, you can, but I won't get it. So I hope you enjoy the next 40 to 50 minutes that you're here on this session with us. Today, we have a superbly interesting topic. That's body image and teen confidence. Are schools doing enough? Now, why are we really talking about this? The reason why we're talking about this is relevant across nations. This is something that's being faced every single day in every single classroom across the globe. This is something that's being talked about. This is something that the students are getting affected with, the schools are getting affected with. And why has it become superbly important now? Let me just give you some insights on what exactly is going around the world. Dove, the soap that you use, did a global beauty confidence report. And that report simply said that 8 in 10 girls stop doing any sports activities that they love because they feel bad about how they look, which is a very bad number and not a very good insight. In India specifically, when we talk of 65% of teenagers report feeling pressure because the way they look. A 2024 UNICEF study tells that 1 out of 3 teenagers faced teasing or bullying because of their appearance. And most importantly, we now have a new disease around it that's known as filter dysmorphia, a new phenomenon where teens want to look the way their filtered image looks on social media. Is this the right kind of obsession? Is this what we want in a classroom? Is this what a student wants in their life? Is what we'll try to explore today with this session starting off. We have people from the higher education space, from the school ecosystem, and also teenagers. So what do they think? How important is their body image? How important is their confidence? And why is it related to their body image? And most importantly, whatever schools are doing to help this specifically to teenagers, is it enough? Or do we need to add something more to it? So let's start the conversation and let me invite the first speaker for today for the Blub World Web Talks 268th episode. A very warm welcome to Mr. Nirmal Rao, who's the Chief Marketing Officer for Geetham University from Bangalore, Hyderabad, India. Nirmalji, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Hey, thank you, Daksh. It's a pleasure to be part of such a esteemed panel and hopefully a very interesting discussion around something which is really relevant. While I have a fair idea about what's happening in the K-12 space, in a university like ours, this problem continues. Uncertainty, anxiousness related to social media pressures is a big phenomenon. It's a matter of concern for all of us in the education space. And we are trying to do a bit, but I think early exposure, debate discussions around this topic should help educationists like all of us to try and see how can we do our bit to mitigate or preempt to the extent possible. Having said that, I think Geetam has taken the lead in holistic development, where we encourage diverse cohorts on these traits, behaviors. And I hope this discussion today will give us more insights as to how can we learn from this debate and incorporate elements or even come out with objectives to put into our institutional framework. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nirmalji. When a student transitions from a school to a university, they bring with them a baggage. Some of that baggage, the university has to make them let go. But some of the baggages that they bring with them becomes a part of their personality. And it's very difficult for them to throw away that pressure or that extra weight that they have with them. Let's see what the school leaders have to talk about this. A very warm welcome to Mr. Anand Khalsan, the principal for Wisdom Park International School from Ambur, Tamil Nadu, India. Mr. Anand, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. When I received the topic, it is a very delicate and very sensitive, which we really need to talk about, especially on the topic called body image and team confidence, especially with the teenagers starts from grade 7 to grade 12. I would like to talk about what schools are taking the lead to the next level, especially in terms of empowerment, especially with pre-adolescent and post-adolescent children. Where I am in a school called a place called Ambur, where it is connected with the places like Vanyambadi, Pernambat, Alangayam, where in the world most of the time only the differences are being highlighted, where we have 70% of children from Islamic heritage and rest 30% are from the different wonderful cultures. Like most of the time I could find the most of the children are being bullied in the classroom, and in terms of their looks, in terms of their personality. I have two testimonies to talk about, and we have initiated two monthly programs that we are successfully onto it. The first monthly program is all about. We started this monthly program because of the child. There was a child called Rajesh. He's a lovely boy with a lovely scars on his face, and we have initiated a monthly program called "Who Am I? Introspect Yourself." Okay, so we had this program, like we had list of activities there, like the child can come forward and do a painting or write poems or write short biographies, or it can be abstract painting or whatever it is. The child is given an opportunity to talk about the positives of the looks, yeah, especially which has been bullied by the children. And this boy, the parent came, they came and they were talking about their looks has been always taunted by all the other children, and he has completely lost the confidence. And so we started this monthly program. Through that, he has initiated his painting, where his cars has been painted with tattoos. So when he came and presented to the children, the children felt this positives to be really to be initiated. Then the second point is all about, we have initiated the cycling program to all the girls, and where the one who's not in, don't know how to cycle has learned how to cycle. So these are all programs which we do. I think we have really initiated this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anand. If you give space to a teenager to really celebrate where they look different, where they get a different image of themselves, if you're able to really make them celebrate this, it'll add a lot of value to what we're really talking about. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Gokul Krishnan, the head of assessment for the Bloomingdale Academy from Ajman, UAE. Gokul, sir, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be a part of this important discussion, as this is a very relevant in this modern world, this topic. So as when we talk about the body image, is not about affecting their how they look like. It will affecting their mental well-being as well, actually. So it is mostly affecting not only the mainly it is we think it is affecting for girls, but boys also facing this kind of body imaging issues. So one of the main reason can be the influence of the social medias nowadays, as you were mentioned before. So because they are seeing lots of reels and lots of things every day in the Instagrams and all. So it's a time to make them aware, give awareness that what is real and what is fake. So they are trying to actually compare themselves with what they are seeing in the social medias. So as a school, since school has a major role to deal with this kind of issues, because this will affect their mental well-being as well as their academic performances. So, so for that, what the school can actually do, anyway, almost all the schools will be having a behavior management policies, but we need to give more emphasis on this kind of issues where the students are facing. Because of these issues, for example, if we are talking about girls, they feel pressure to be more slim, and for boys, they have to be in the muscular fit. So they will always think about that. So they are seeing someone else doing that. So they get a feeling that, okay, I also want to be like them. So all this. So it will gradually become an anxious state, and it will come to the academic performance as well. So as a school, what we can do is we need to give them a space to talk openly about what they are feeling and what problems they are facing. So that counselors have a major role to do. So we have schools have counselors, so they can approach the counselors at any time if they are facing any issues with all this behavior management or anxiety. So we can give a proper counseling to them, and also we can provide them the awareness programs can be conducted, and these topics can be included, and also the social media awareness program also is an important part of this. Not only the mental health awareness, social media awareness program also will helpful. And also this kind of things can be included in the curriculum as well. So this is a new things which when I am thinking about this topic, so what we can do is that if we include this in the curriculum, especially in the health education or PSED, it will be very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gokul sir. And you raised a very important point in this complete discussion, that it's very difficult for a boy to seek help when such a thing happens. If they face a body image challenge, they're not ready to really talk to anyone about it. There's a lot of stigma around masculinity that comes at play when a boy wants to talk about all of this. Just to share some insight with you, there's a media company called Common Sense Media that did a small little survey in 2024. And what they were able to find out, that nearly 56% of teenagers face this simple challenge of either, thinking of themselves as being too skinny or not muscular enough. More than half of the teenage population, male population, thinks this way. When they think this way, their perception of themselves deteriorate, and sometimes they even self-abnegate. So are we really, ready to let teens do this when we are the caretakers for them? What's it that we can do? Thank you so much, sir. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Guy Casarsis, the college principal for ELC, college principal ELC for St. George College, Adelaide, Australia. I hope I pronounced your name right. If I did not, please correct me. Over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself, and a very warm welcome.
Thank you for that. And yes, you pronounced the name correctly. That's fine. Thank you to Blub World for the invitation to express my views on if schools are doing enough in the area in that space of body image and teen confidence. Body image is a growing concern in schools, and it is for many children, boys and girls alike, as has just been mentioned. And to start off with, some research is showing that these issues are occurring from about 5-year-olds upwards, especially in girls. They're already expressing their concerns in the area of their weight. Adding the pressure is growing. There's the pool perfect body that we talk about. Young people want that social media body that they're seeing from influencers, etc., and that's causing obviously many issues amongst young men or young boys and young girls. So body image isn't just about the way that they look, it also affects the children's confidence, their relationships, and obviously a number of mental health issues. And girls are taught from a pretty young age, unintentionally, that they need to look good to be worth anything in society. So by adolescence, many girls link themselves to their self-esteem and social success through what they see on social media. So are we actually doing a good job in schools? I'd say no, but possibly we are. Schools, from a teenage point of view, are not doing enough in regards to the area of body image and confidence. They're saying that globally they're reporting a dissatisfaction with that area of education in schools. Over half of the Australian teens, 57% from a 2024 survey, showed that they were actually dissatisfied with their bodies. And so body image isn't just about vanity, as I mentioned. It's about confidence, self-worth, and the mental health. And globally, the statistics are quite alarming. So how big is the problem? In the UK, we've got 1 in 3 teen girls say they're ashamed of the way that they look. In the US, over 50% of teenage girls and nearly a third of boys have reported dissatisfaction with their bodies. 90% of young Australians are concerned about their body image, with 57% of the teens dissatisfied with the way that they look. And in India, in a 2025 survey of 500 young people, they found 56.44% of females and 43% of males reported body dissatisfaction. And social media tends to play about 62% role in their dissatisfaction based on some surveys. So there are programs around in Australia called the Butterfly Foundation. There's Body Safety Australia as well that's doing things. And there's also digital workshops. So there is a number of things going around. The other thing I think I'd like to conclude on would be there are some programs globally like Zoala. Zoala is a student wellbeing platform that we use at St George College, and is an app also designed to track student happiness, their wellbeing at school, their mood, their emotions through surveys and self-reflections. So there are things around for us to do in schools, as well as integrated into health and PE curriculums. But I think one of our biggest problems is we have a crowded curriculum. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Guy. What you brought forth is some very critical points that you're right that there are a lot of programs that even the schools run, a lot of CSR projects, a lot of social responsibility projects that a lot of foundations and corporations also run. One of the examples being the Birds and the Bees talk that's run by Reckitt. Across, I think, 50, 60 nations, they do this. But at the same time, the challenge that comes at play is the stigma around the conversation. Because a teenager would not really open up and do a conversation about this. We have to find more spaces within the school or create more safe spaces within schools where a teen feels comfortable and free enough so that they can come and have a conversation about this. Thank you so much for adding this to discussion. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Ms. Kanchan Mary Pradhan, who's the campus head for Fairview International School from Johor, Malaysia. Now, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you so much, Daksh. It's an absolute pleasure to be part of this meaningful discussion hosted by Blue World. The topic, I feel it's not just timely, it's essential. As educators, we stand at the intersection of learning growth and the identity, guiding students as they shape how they see themselves and their place in the world. So I have spent about 20 years in education, and I've seen how deeply body image and self-confidence affect our students' learning and well-being as well. So today's young people are surrounded by social media, and then Fairview being a school where we rely on gadgets for teaching and learning process. The school does not have any firewall. The internet is open for our students. So that often distort reality, making it easy for them to compare and question their own worth. So in Fairview, we've learned that confidence does not come only from achievements. So there's something that we deeply believe in. It grows in spaces where students feel accepted, supported, and understood. This is very important for us. So every word of encouragement and every moment we listen without judgment help our students to see their values beyond appearances. So I witnessed students flourish when they realize their uniqueness in their strength, when school promotes empathy, inclusivity, and often conversation about self-image, empower them to embrace who they are with pride. We've got a lot of students from different parts of the world, and then my school has many students, Chinese students. When they get to see the students coming from Indian background, we've got different complexions. So even my son was bullied in the beginning because he had different skin color. So then we taught our kids to accept who they are with pride. So another important thing that I've seen the moment I came to Malaysia was the incident, which was not very good. A student was involved in harassment in her, not in Fairview, in another school, one of the international schools in Johor Bahru. So was involved in the misuse of AI images, the heavily Gemini AI images that we see these days. So among these students, this came to light, and she lost her life. She decided that it's too much for me to handle this. It's better to end my life than to listen from other people. So it's clear that digital pressure are influencing how young people view themselves and others. So such incidents remind us why schools must not only educate minds but also shape values. This is the most important thing that I see and I believe in. And then we have a curriculum, revolving around this concept as well. From my experience, schools are making progress. I've been to many schools in my life. I've seen that, the curriculum is changing. Yes, there's no proper curriculum yet, but it is changing. The strategy and the policies, the modules, everything is changing. Okay. True education goes beyond academics. It's about nurturing confidence, compassionate young people who know their worth from within. Over to you, Daksh. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kanchan. What you brought forth is really right, that more conversations around this have to happen. Just mentioning some more insights for you to add a little bit of a context. There was a psychology association that did a small little survey to find out that if a school simply includes one weekly session about self-esteem in teenagers, they can typically reduce the cases of bullying by 30 to 40% in their classrooms. So it's a small little step that you can do. Just start talking about what's your self-esteem, also your self-worth. The decision-making of a teenager and that whole classroom changes dramatically. So that's the power of just doing the right conversations. Thank you so much, Ms. Kanchan. And I think the case that you mentioned had really bad effects. And I think since I cannot mention this on this forum, since we have a lot of teenagers, but you have to understand, sharing these stories in a format that a teen can digest it will help improve their decision making. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Let me invite the next speaker. A very warm welcome to Dr. Mangolika Chakravarti, the head of school for Xavier International School from Kathmandu, Bagmati, Nepal. Ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Thank you so much, Daksh, and all the speakers for bringing up this very important area which we need to look into is, are we doing enough to make our children feel safe, feeling loved? But when we talk about school, when we are talking about education, I think, yes, children do go to school for certain hours and they spend time with their teachers. There's a community which is built. But when it is about learning, it is learning from the entire world. And this world has curated social media feeds, unrealistic beauty standards, and constant comparison is created consciously and unconsciously for body dissatisfaction. Talk about the beauty pageants which takes place, the standards which are set. Talk about any cream, any oil which is being promoted, be the deodorant. So it's a society which is making it more intensive for these young minds to believe that they are not good enough. And look at the way the cosmology world is, getting into action now. uh, Children at very young age, in their teenage, in 15 and 16, they are up for modifying their faces, facial structures, uh, adding things to their bodies, which is now beyond the school's limits as well. Yes, the school can do certain things, like our school. Xavier's have certain campaigns done. Xavier's has Boys and Girls Club, which starts from grade 4 itself, where students, the boys and girls, they have their own space to discuss how the changes are taking place, what it is, how it feels like in adolescence. And it's okay to feel those things and have look in a certain way. Looking at the program that we are doing, which is the framework, we use the IB framework, where there is very well given that there is this descriptor where it is about taking care of your physical, emotional well-being, spiritual well-being. And then there are units done consciously on body image in the fourth, fifth grade standards, and beyond as well. When we talk about the skills, when we are talking about the learner profile, we make sure that this thing is covered. But how far? You know, we can help children have that safe space which you're talking about, where they can represent themselves in their stories, be the heroes of their own stories, and be appreciated, feel safe. The culture of acceptance can be built within the school. But what happens when they step out in the family? So educating the parents, educating the relatives, having that awareness, making them know that where to stop. You cannot tell your children that, oh, this doesn't fit to you, don't look good. So yes, something which you brought up is very important, and thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, the IB curriculum and a lot of curriculums do have prescribed format of teaching all of these things. They do have prescribed format of talking to teenagers, but we all have to understand, is a teenager really ready to take advice from an adult that they don't want to even learn from? The challenge right now is that a teacher has now to transform himself or herself into an entertainer just to engage with these teenagers. Will they be ready to take body advice, or typically body image advice, from adults that they feel that these are not the cool people in my life? So the challenge here is we need peer platforms where they talk to each other and we can enable more conversations among themselves in the right direction. Just to give you some little bit of context to everyone, body shaming is the most common form of bullying in the world, far more than academic teasing or cyber bullying or any criminal crime, bullying crime that's being reported. Simple body shaming affects a lot more teenagers than any other form of criminal bullying that happens. And that's something that starts within the classroom. That's something that's happening in front of us every single day in a multitude of occasions. That's why it needs the attention of a school leader, and that's why we are having this conversation. Thank you so much for adding those points to it. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mrs. Mona Farooq, the principal of Al Ansar International School from Sharjah, UAE. Ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself, and a very warm welcome.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mona Farooq, principal of Al Ansar International School, Sharjah, UAE. And it's truly an honor to join you today in this meaningful discussion about body image and teen confidence. Well, in education, we often focus on academic achievement, but behind every grade, every report card is a young person navigating identity and self-worth and confidence as well. And so the question we must ask ourselves is, are schools really doing enough to nurture the world child, mind, body, and spirit? This is the question. At Al Ansar International School, we believe teen confidence is inseparable from well-being. Body image struggles are not just personal battles. They are social, cultural, and educational challenges as well. And schools cannot remain silent. We weave health, well-being, and digital literacy into our curriculum. And when students learn to critically analyze media stereotypes, they gain the tools to define beauty and strength on their own terms. Our teachers are not just instructors, they are role models. Through careful language, avoiding comparisons, and celebrating effort rather than appearance, they create safe awareness and spaces where teens feel valued. We empower students through well-being councils, peer mentors, and forums. And when teens themselves lead the conversation, the solutions become more authentic, as you just said right now, and more impactful. And we must not forget that the world is becoming a global village, as we are right now coming from different backgrounds, especially here in the UAE, a nation where students come from different countless nationalities and backgrounds. This diversity teaches us to accommodate, accept, and respect others. And just as importantly, to respect ourselves for who we truly are. Confidence also grows with and through opportunities. That's why we encourage students to participate in debates, Model United Nations, student councils, public speaking forums, outreach programs, volunteering, and community service. And the support to support this, their self-esteem and sense of identity, we provide a full well-being network and a school media. I mean, departments like psychologists, we have the well-being counselor, health and safety specialist. All of this is aligned under the SPIA well-being framework. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mona Farooq. Schools try a lot to put a lot of things in place so that teenagers get the space to talk. They have enough guidance when required, specifically about body image. A lot of people, a lot of schools, a lot of countries, or rather a lot of policy makers thought that a good way to fight body image would be to introduce uniforms. And that's why schools had uniforms, and it helped to an extent, but we all know what happens to a uniform when you become a teenager. The way they dress up, the way they keep themselves ready during the whole school hours is something that tells us they're searching for their individuality. When we do this conversation, we have to understand you cannot force a structure onto it. You'll have to figure out an organic conversation in it. Only then a teenager might be really interested in talking to you, having a conversation about it, or you might be able to do something effective. A Harvard study tells that if you just, talk to them more about arts, about meaningfulness in life, if you talk to them about spirituality, just these conversations could increase their self-esteem and body image at least by 30 to 40%. Just the conversation can do far more than the structure. Thank you so much, Ms. Mona, for adding that. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mrs. Nethen Lamho, the principal of Gyal Posing Middle Secondary School from Mongar, Bhutan. Ma'am, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself, and a very warm welcome.
Good morning and namaste to all. Thanks for having me. When we talk about the body image today, we all know how confused and pressurized our teenagers are, Social media is a big influence. The unrealistic beauty standard set, that makes them, our students, feel worse in what they are. So I also believe we have made a strong effort in Bhutan under the patronage of Her Majesty the Girls in the Pema Secretariat has strengthened the mental health and well-being program in the schools with the collaboration to the Minister of Health and Education and other stakeholders. So we have trained, the Secretariat have trained the counselors properly. Where there is no counselor, they have trained the well-being focal person, And the one program it came in this is that all the schools in Bhutan, we have this mentor-mentee system once in a week, so that a child will have somebody to talk to and rely on. It is not in my school. Throughout the Bhutan, we have this mentor-mentee system once in a week, So all the childs will talk to. We also organize, like many of the speakers said, the health talk, the discussions on the body image, nutrition, the self-care, the school menu. I think you all know Bhutan is in Bhutan, the health and education is free. So we also get free menu, meals for the schools, and menu is developed by the government itself, So this will also help to enhance the body. When the body is fit, the mind will be fit too. So to involve the families in this, we have parenting program twice in a year. I think all the schools do that. And we also trained peer helpers, so that student can talk to somebody. Talking to friends make a lot of difference. So that is it. We also try to nurture the spiritual and value-based learning, helping our children to accept and appreciate themselves, who they are and what they are, to be happy with what they are. We also encourage them to, simplify their desires and expectations so that they can amplify their happiness and peace. At the same time, the games and sports play a vital role, like competition in school level, cluster, regional, national level, helps them to build the bond, teamwork, and understand the positive attitude towards one's body, Schools also have a screening once in a year. All the students, we have health screening once in a year. And especially in my school, we have added a small but a meaningful tradition where we celebrate birthdays not by cutting cakes, but planting trees, not lavishing on the artificially sweetened fruits, but, planting trees. And this will also help them to make the growth and the kindness, a purpose in life is much better than the physical appearance. So still, but the challenge remains. That is social media, a very big influence, Very big influence. So what we can do is, only thing is, we can forge a hope and heal the mindset of the teen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would, at this moment, I think I should quote just some time back at the World Teen Parliament, we had a voting debate that was judged by the Speaker of Bhutanese Assembly and the opposition leader of the Bhutanese Assembly. Both of them were there on the same voting debate that we organized. And, the conversation that we had, because Bhutan, since it's a very young democracy, it has a very peaceful parliament. It has the world's most peaceful parliament. They're very cooperative with each other. It's a young democracy. So as a parliament, the nation is growing. But the kind of things that they brought forth, the kind of care that your government is right now able to give to a teenager, that's possible in a country that's size of Bhutan. And I think more schools should also talk about this with their ecosystems, that what can we do more about this? Can we really give them the space for conversation? It's really good that, you talk about spirituality. Spirituality is a good way of, having this conversation with a teenager. It's a very good route to take. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me invite the next speaker for today. A very warm welcome to Mr. Tim Lloyd, the principal of Plumpton High School from Sydney, NSW, Australia. Mr. Tim, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself, and a very warm welcome.
Thanks, Daksh. And look, Guy outlined a lot of the data around, and others have highlighted that also. We've got a significant number of frameworks in our school. Our school has 66 different cultures, so that in itself is exceptionally diverse. And catering to that diversity that comes from all over planet Earth has been a wonderful experience. And training and working with teachers as leaders and our students, our school plan basically takes in educating the whole human. We've got 5 major focuses: intellectual capacity building, relationships, which takes into those personal, professional, looks at empathy and advocacy as well as efficacy; the self-concept space, which we're working heavily on and speaking today very well upon, about courage and resilience and grit; leadership, obviously having students with agency and voice; and reflective practice, in that we want our students to learn from what's happened in the past to improve in the future. And to be able to do those things, and looking specifically around body image, which links to self-esteem, relationships, and overall the ability of a student to succeed, we've implemented a fairly strong wellbeing structure at our school. It's our positive psychology program, where we focus on emotional, cognitive, social, physical, and spiritual wellbeing for all of our students. It's actually embedded in the curriculum, which is really, really beneficial. So each of our students then has a lesson in positive psychology every fortnight or every 2 weeks, where they have a teacher who is their pastoral care teacher, whom teaches them from year 7 right through to year 12. So they build a strong bond, and they cover all of those different areas successfully. But they then morph into other areas, with all of our positive psychology teachers being trained in a number of psychological frameworks: choice theory, growth mindset, restorative practice, and our latest, which is one of our most highly valued programs, is resilience in our teens. And that was developed by Newcastle University, a gentleman there, Michael Horton. And that aims to build, obviously, students' self-esteem and their ability to deal with challenges and anxiety. And for us, that's been a real game changer, because it started through our positive psychology program and the Riot program, it's built the students' ability to manage their anxiety around self-esteem, and one of those big areas being tackled is body image, as we're discussing today. And because our students have a great connection with a significant adult, being their positive psychology teacher or other significant adult, they've got someone that they can trust. Their classes that they meet with every week or every fortnight to discuss things is very open. The curriculum runs from year 7 right through to year 12, and that's in conjunction also with our personal development, health and physical education program, which also caters to this. And we've also built into that our other frameworks. All of our students participate in the Duke of Edinburgh International Award Framework in Year 9, where they attain their bronze, which gives them a different perspective. They start to look at different things. They start to look at valuing different opportunities in the world. We have a significantly highly valued Student Executive Leadership Council. All of those students are mentored. We mentor around 600 students every year through our 60+ corporate business partners. Some of our students have corporate business partners, individual mentors that go for up to 2 years, and in some instances through their first year of university. And what we are then able to do with that mentorship of the 600 students every year, it's supporting kids to build that self-esteem, to not have body image as a challenge, because they've got the skill set. And I think that's vital, that holistic education of the child.
Thank you so much, Tim. And I think the point that you made is, if we talk to a teenager about their skill, if we, give them compliments around their skill, body image takes the back seat. If you're really able to, build that confidence in them, that you're the kind of skill that you're building, the kind of education that you're having, this enhances you as an individual. It automatically, enhances their self-esteem and takes the body image challenge to the back seat. But you have to understand, even when we have a lot of structured programs, we do understand, some of the best universities across the world make amazing programs that these do. There are mentorship sessions, there are corporate relations sessions, but we have to understand it's far more about the peer conversation. Because we are really, a school defines the structure of a society. The kind of kids that you give out to the world, they decide how the society will operate. So when we give them a very structured approach to things, they feel that the emotion that this structure incites ends with the structure. They don't take it to their normal everyday life. But some very important things that you mentioned, they're important, and it's good for other school leaders to check them out and learn from them. But I would again bring everyone back to that peer conversation. That's where the real transformation could take place for a teenager. Thank you so much. So now it's time to move from all the adults, from all the opinions that come from the adults, now to listen to a teenager. The teenager might have a lot of pressure because whatever all the oldies have said, but don't take it in any way. You have all the liberty, and the next 3 minutes are yours. A very warm welcome to Mr. Ansh Gulati. He is currently a member of parliament at the 4th World Teen Parliament. He is a student in grade 11 in Sun City School, 37D, Gurugram, Haryana. Ansh, over to you for the next 3 minutes. Please unmute yourself and a very warm welcome.
Respected panel members, Aristotle once famously said, "Give me the child for 7 years and I will show you the adult." Today, schools are shaping teenagers in a hall of mirrors and responding with posters. If Sun Tzu saw this strategy, he'd whisper, "Never bring a slogan to a siege." Let's get real. Schools aren't failing for the lack of care. They're failing for lack of design. A few months ago, I met a junior who stopped coming to PE. Being a council member, I asked why. He said, "Because I'm always last." One comment from a teacher, "Maybe try eating less," stuck to him like a label that never peeled off. And he isn't an exception. According to UNICEF, 7 out of 10 teenagers report feeling judged about their bodies in school. And the WHO adds that over 60% of adolescent girls and 30% of boys feel pressured to look a certain way before the age of 16. Confidence isn't born in one assembly and a Canva poster. It's built or broken by daily systems, uniforms that fit nobody, PE that ranks bodies publicly, teachers' remarks that echo longer than algebra formulas, and algorithms that never sleep. Culture always beats curriculum. You can't preach self-love at 10 o'clock and then crown fittest, thinnest, and fastest at 11 o'clock. That's not education. That's mixed signals with a bell schedule. If that's progress, then Maggie really does take 2 minutes. The new curriculum is digital. If we don't teach kids filter literacy, edit detection, or algorithm awareness, we're sending kids to battle blindfolded. The only calculation most teens master is how many likes to feel okay. Spoiler, the answer is always more. Data doesn't salute intentions. Body dissatisfaction peaks by 16 years old. Wellness week isn't a cure, it's a band-aid on a fracture, which falls off by Wednesday. So what does enough look like? 3 moves: policy, practice, and design. Zero tolerance for body shaming. Health that teaches body literacy. No public veins, and walls that celebrate skill and strength, not Photoshop perfection. I know the objections. We have Wellness Week. A week can't outrun an entire toxic year. Teachers are busy, then integrate it, don't isolate it. Here's the truth. Schools either build confidence daily or they mass produce insecurity with inspirational wallpaper. If we can standardize exams, we can standardize dignity. Aristotle gave the blueprint. Sun Tzu gave the strategy. We carry the mandate. Confidence isn't a pep talk, it's a protocol. Design it or destroy it. Choose. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ansh. And I think some superb analogies that you made. I think we all love the conversation that you brought forth. And this is, I think, what I was trying to talk about in this whole conversation, that let teens talk to each other. They are far more convincing, they have a lot of conviction, and they can transform things very quickly. We all are from a society that has seen evolution. They are from a society that has seen evolution getting disrupted. So you have to understand the pace of change is fast. What is it that you bring to the table? Do you really have the time to do a hypothesis and then finally bring out a thesis from it? Or you only have the time to start a conversation? That's what we need to really think. Before the session concludes, before it really comes to an end, why are we having this conversation? Why is there something called the Blub World Web Talks in the world? Why is there something called the World Teen Parliament in the world? And why are you here talking to a guy in a black t-shirt when you're all so well dressed up, decked up in your offices, really taking on responsibility, changing children across the world? For a very simple reason. Education is no more didactic. It cannot be didactic. It's only a meaningful conversation. The student around you, whether he's a teenager, a child, or whichever grade they're in, they might not be looking for any new information coming out of you. They might be just looking at you for some answers that need a lot of empathy, that need some small little human logic and a lot of love coming from the teachers. The school cannot be an organization anymore. It has to transform into a community. I hope this conversation was meaningful for you. This was the Blub World Web Talks 268th episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, and if you want to attend the future sessions, open your audio, say a big yes. And it was lovely interacting and listening to all of you. And I hope we have far many more conversations in our schools. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dave, so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much, Daksh. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Daksh.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.